Hi there, this is David, and that Nintendo Direct that we just saw was straight up fire! I am not feeling all that well right now. I've been sick for about a week now, but nothing puts me into a better mood, nothing makes me feel more bright than getting excited about some upcoming sweet frickin' games. This Nintendo Direct was full of some greats, and there are 10 games here that I really do want to talk about, games that I'm most excited about, gotta say. And I'm just gonna go straight through the order that it was presented in the Nintendo Direct. First up, we had Pokemon Scarlet and Violet paid DLC, which is available right now. There's the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disc, and each one is available for, the different separate games, and it's talking about the various sealed treasures over in the mysterious Area 0. Me, personally, I don't really do DLC. I just don't. Maybe I'm old school. I am old after all. But once I'm done with the game, I'm just kind of done. The DLC really does have to kind of really blow me away for me to really get into it, or for me to really go back to another game nowadays. When I was a kid, I would replay games all the time, but nowadays, I'm kind of one and done, unless it's just like mind-blowing here. There's also a special event later on today about this, but if you do want this DLC, I figured I'd bring it up, and again, it is available now. Next up, we have Sonic Superstars. We heard about this back on the PlayStation Showcase. This is a 2D Sonic where you can control Sonic or Tails, Knuckles, or Amy. It really just depends on who you want to control, and I think that this is just interesting. Sonic and Mario, Kirby, those are pretty much like the only properties that I play that aren't RPGs, so it just looks cool, and it reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me, of growing up, and I like it. And they said something interesting. It has four-player local co-op. They said that was the first time in the series, and I didn't have a Genesis growing up. I don't really know, but I assume that there was a multi-tap of some sort on the Genesis, and I'm shocked that there wasn't a 4-player option back when on the 16-bit consoles. I mean, maybe it makes sense that there was only, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails or whatever, and Amy's a newer arrival, so maybe that's why, but I can't imagine that, they didn't have it before, but hey, now they do. Next up, we have Palia. This is a free-to-play MMO RPG thing that's going on here. Personally, I'm not too thrilled about this, but again, I'm presenting RPGs that many of y'all might actually enjoy here as well. Basically, you can pretty much play the game however you want to. You can spend your time farming or fishing or cooking, doing any of that kind of stuff, or you can go out and you can battle. Because it is an MMO, you can join up with other players and kind of battle together and look for secrets and ruins and artifacts and all that kind of stuff, or you can play solo. It's all up to you. This one's coming out this holiday season, and I forgot to mention Sonic Superstars is coming out in the fall. Next up, we have Persona 5 Tactica. This was originally released leaked, I should say, by Atlas West over on their Instagram. Then it was announced by Xbox. Then it was announced that it was coming to pretty much Sony and all the consoles, and now it's here on the Switch, coming out November 17th. This is a turn-based strategy RPG with Persona 5 characters. I will play the mainline Persona games, but I haven't actually delved into any of those like spin-off Persona games, Dancing All Night or Strikers or anything like that. But, whereas dancing and battling and stuff like that, Strikers, all that, isn't really my cup of tea, tactics RPGs are. And this is turn-based tactics RPG with kind of the press turn system where you can knock an enemy down, get an extra attack, you can fuse your personas together, all that kind of great Persona stuff. And there's physical versions. This is like the only game that they actually literally said, hey, physical version, pre-order now. Next up, we have Myth Force. This is a first-person action RPG based upon Saturday morning cartoons of the 80s. It reminds me a lot of like He-Man or She-Ra, Conan the Adventurer, those sort of cartoons that I grew up on back in the 1980s. And it just looks cool. Normally something like this that's like first person wouldn't really pique my interest, but between the art style and the whole 80s cartoon thing going on, it kind of looks fun. It kind of looks like it might be up my alley. This is coming out sometime later on this year in 2023. They didn't give an exact release date, unfortunately. And now, mind freaking blown! We are getting a Super Mario RPG remake! And this is not in the HD 2D style. This is in that, same kind of Mario timeless style instead. We did get something else in HD 2D, and we'll get to that in a minute, but this looks absolutely amazing. I have loved Super Mario RPG back whenever I first got it, back when I was in high school. Like, this was such a freaking great game. And there's been so many Mario RPGs after this one. You had the Paper Mario series, you had the Mario and Luigi series, all of those, but all of them paled in comparison just to the original. This one was the best. It still is the best. You actually had real life party members where you could have Mario or Geno or Mallow or the princess or Bowser. It looks so cool. It still has turn-based battles. It's basically the exact same game, just upscaled graphics. Like, it looks exactly the same. Unfortunately, we do not know if it's going to be a physical version yet. They did say that you can pre-order it right now on the eShop, and it's going to be coming out November 17th, but they didn't say if it was going to be coming out physically. This would be a day one buy if it was physical. Also, because, this is Mario, it's not going to be coming to the PC or anything. This is going to be Switch exclusive. I can't even deal with it. Like, everything from the first game is here. I didn't see anything in the trailer that looks new or bastardized or anything else like that. This just looks fantastic. It is right from the source. There's nothing changed here. It's just upgraded with quality of life features and graphics, and I am dying. Now from Xseed. Xseed's one of my favorite developers ever. I love them. They just make some classic, timeless, great RPGs. This one's called Silent Hope, and it's coming out October the 3rd. And it stars 7 silent protagonists. It says 7 wordless warriors. Essentially, the plot of the game is that the king decreed that no one can speak, and the king basically said, silence, and everybody's voice was lost. This is an action RPG roguelike, where you have to delve into the dungeons, into the abyss, and you're looking for the reclusive king, and you're guided by the only other person here who can possibly speak in this world, which is the magical girl princess. So you go inside of the abyss, you delve in there, you fight monsters, then you gather some materials, you come back up to the kingdom, you can farm, you can forge, you can do whatever at the base camp, and then go back into the dungeon searching for that king. Normally, I'm not really into roguelikes, dungeon crawlers, things like that, but again, this is Xseed, and they always bring the quality. It's been about a year since we got our last Dragon Quest Monsters, and that was Dragon Quest Treasures. I want to say that came out last year on December 11th. This one, Dragon Quest Monsters The Dark Prince, is coming out December 1st. We knew that there was a Dragon Quest Monsters game in development. That was announced last week by Square Enix. And so we have heard about this, but we didn't know anything else. All we knew was that there was going to be a new Dragon Quest Monsters game. But this one, you're playing as Sorrow! Like, how cool is that? Sorrow was the final boss in Dragon Quest IV, and rather than just having like 3 monsters on your team, now you can have 4 monsters fighting on your team, and you get to play from like, that angle of like the dark side, the anti-hero, that sort of thing, kind of like Tales of Berseria. It's just interesting. It's just an interesting kind of darker take on such a light-hearted series and a light-hearted formula. And then at the very end of the trailer, I thought it was so cool how, you're playing as Sorrow, you see yourself as Sorrow, and then he's like, oh, so you've come. And then it shows Solo, and you're like, oh, mind freaking blown. I love Dragon Warrior 4 as a kid growing up on the NES, and seeing this is just something else. There he is. There is Solo. Is it possible? Is it humanly possible to die from excitement? Star Ocean 2! This was leaked last week that there was going to be a remake of Star Ocean 2, but we didn't know anything else about it. All we knew was that there was a logo called Star Ocean Second Story R. That's all we knew. We didn't know if it was going to be a remake or a remaster. Oh, baby. This one, nice. This is an HD 2D. This is the very first HD 2D RPG that is an action RPG. You actually get to see them fight in HD 2D, and the portraits, these portraits are beautiful. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then you still have that sprite work there in the actual graphics themselves. This one is coming out on November 2nd. Like, this is just, look at this battle where they're fighting. They're fighting action combat in HD 2D. We've never seen this before. And it's so freaking cool. It is blowing my mind. And you know, you can have 8 party members, but you can only fight with 4. The other 4, they help out in battle. They're able to like do little skills from the back row and stuff, kind of like Breath of Fire 4. Like, this is so cool, and this is the best one. Star Ocean 2 is the best one, and here it is. Like, oh my god, mind freaking blown here. And finally, the last game that I wanted to bring up, we have a new 2D Mario game. This is called Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Okay, so here's the deal. I really can't do 3D games. I just can't. Once the N64 came out, I was kind of done with Mario and Zelda. Like, it ruined those series for me because they went 3D, and I can't play 3D games. I just can't. I don't want to hear it. I just can't. So every time that there's a new, 3D Mario or a 3D Zelda, they look cool. I'd love to play them, but I can't. But the 2D games, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. They're great. Like, I loved, I loved Mario growing up. I really did, and I can't wait to go back and play the games of my youth. It looks super freaking fun. It doesn't look like it has like traditional power-ups. Like, you can't just like have like a fire flower and shoot fireballs or whatever. Instead, you get these wonder flowers. And the wonder flowers just allow you to do different things based upon the stage. Maybe it will turn you into like an elephant. Maybe it will, make the ground shake. Maybe it will turn you into that rolling spiky ball or whatever. It just looks cool. You can also play as Princess Toadstool, Daisy, Toad, Mario, Luigi. I'm gonna guess that there's more characters because they showed 5, and 5 isn't like an even nice number. You know what I mean? So I'm guessing there's probably 3 more characters in there that you can probably play with, but this just looks sweet. This was a Nintendo Direct for the ages. I loved this. Let me know what y'all thought about the Nintendo Direct. Let me know which games you are most excited for, what you're most looking forward to, and as always, have a good day.